Predator. It's MLP Dota and John X5. John, welcome back, sir. How you feeling?
Feeling great, Mike. We had some fantastic series so far. Last one for today. It's been a long day. Thankfully, we've gotten Monster to energize us, our sponsors. Thank you to Monster. I've been sticking to the OG. You've been digging the Hotline Punch. Until now, is it the same flavor you've been sticking to?
Yes, it is, John. Love me some Pipeline Punch. It's very, very tropical. You would enjoy it, John, but apparently you keep telling me that you can't buy it.
No, I can't find it. I know. I see corn, and for the most part, the only thing I can find stably is the OG flavor. So I just have the original, which is perfectly fine. It's great by itself, but I would love to experience the tropics. I am in the tropics. Might as well experience it as well, you know, Mike?
Absolutely.
You'd think.
I would agree. Nevertheless, John, we do have a draft underway. Team Dog versus TNC Predator. Now, Team Dog, they are definitely a team that are looking to make some points here, right? Like, I believe in terms of group standings right now, they are in the bottom half. Well, they are actually tied at 4th. Or they were tied at 4th until Fnatic just got that 2-0 victory. And now they are officially sitting at the 5th place spot, just below the upper bracket. So they are looking to try and get themselves a 2-0 victory if they can, to try and move themselves up to tie with Execration, or maybe just be even above Execration for that 4th place spot. TNC Predator, however, I mean, they're at the 1st place spot right now in the group stage, and I'm sure they're only looking to try and continue their run through the groups at a very, very fast and high pace. I'm sure they're not looking to give any points away to their competitors in Team Dog.
No, definitely not. We'll see what Team Dog can bring out. They've had some solid performances. Again, it's almost the same as Among Us, right? Like, there are some big names here. There were high expectations. But overall, it is also a bit rocky, considering that they just have formed up for this tournament. So we'll see if they have started to stitch together their playstyles here. TNC is going to be a very big opponent for them to really test themselves against. Do have our draft opening up, though. Team Dog, again, dipping into the Leshrac that we've been seeing more often. You know, I want to say, I feel like throughout her casting career, we've seen Leshrac always pop back in towards the end of a patch.
Yep.
Right? Like, I'm thinking like last year, like in 2018 as well. Towards the end of any major patch, the Leshrac would always sneak back in. And here we are again on the verge of a new patch. Leshrac's back in meta. TNC do take the Undying, but I have to tell you, I mean, it's not been in fashion for too long, but I am still kind of sick of Leshrac. Personally, it just feels like our entire casting career has been haunted by this disco pony. That and Io Gyro.
No, I would agree with you on that, John. It does always pop up on the tail end of a patch, and it comes back, and then it looks like the strongest hero. On the brighter side, John, every time it does come back, it tends to get nerfed because it was powerful right at the end, and that makes me very happy every time. However, a hero we don't see too often at the tail end of a patch is an Ogre Magi, which apparently does pop up here for the side of Team Dog. Not 100% sure what to expect yet from this Ogre Magi, but it seems like Team Dog want to run it, and I say why the hell not?
Yeah, it's a solid support to have. Sort of opens them up to the possibilities of taking a hard-hitting core here, something that loves the steroid that the Ogre Magi brings out. TNC, though, do pick up the Spectre. So we're seeing Undying Spectre. We're seeing potentially that insane burst healing coming out to the Spec. We've seen that save Spectre so many times, and also helps them maximize their dispersion. So a solid combo already here for TNC. Gabby on a bit of a comfort pick for himself. We're going to have to see how it evolves. Leshrac, I think, is already a pretty decent way of holding down a Spectre, right? You've got some good magic damage here to burn down. You can also force a faster game by melting these objectives with a Lesh. So the Spectre is going to have the team really try to pull away from the push that Team Dog might look to achieve with Leshrac, and just try to save some space out for Gabby.
Speaking of Gabby, by the way, I don't know if... Do you reckon he actually saw that movie poster you made today about Gabby?
I feel like he hasn't. That's perfectly fine. I feel like if he did, he'd like, what the hell? I'm looking at it now and I'm like, oh, the face. You can see the mount is a completely different age, but it still fits in. It's disturbing. It's actually pretty disturbing how well it fits in.
if you're wondering about the poster I'm talking about, it is on John's Twitter or his Facebook page. So, go check it out if you do wish. It's a pretty. I'd say this is one of my favorite ones, John. So well done to you today, sir. Very nice stuff.
Thank you.
Hopefully Gabby feels the same way. I mean, Gabby hasn't. I feel like Gabby's never talked to us before, so I'm not 100% sure what kind of person he is, but he seems like a pretty laid-back guy. Sure, he's happy enough.
He does. I feel like he'd agree with the top tag there that came from the original poster. When the supports left the lane, they forgot one minor detail: the carry. His face is just like, oh no, I'm alone. Let's see if the TNC has been disciplined around keeping Gabby alive. I do like the ban outs here. Beastmaster ban out from Team Dog might be indicating perhaps a Faces Void pickup, which would work well with an Ogre Magi. We'll see if TNC picks up on that and bans it out as their last ban. But Team Dog are ticking really hard about their next bans. Like, digging this deep into reserve time on that second phase, not too uncommon, but leaves them less thinking time to really maximize their second phase picks.
That is true. Final banouts, though, they are slowly but surely coming out. Team Dog just really focusing on those off-lane bans right now. The Batrider and Beastmaster both being removed. What else do we want to see? Just making sure KP has a bad time according to these bans. They also get rid of the Mars, which is fair enough. Mars being still a very, very popular hero in the meta. Just never really seemed to have died down ever since it came out. It's been good for a very, very long time. Probably another one of those heroes that's going to have some adjustments made to the hero. The nice way to put it. The Troll Warlord also removed by TNC, so just wanting to get rid of as many position 1s as possible. And now we'll get to see some more picks come out, which is always a very nice feeling.
Yeah, we still have to see what TNC wants to build up on their Spectre here. Undying is a fairly solid 5, as we mentioned, with Spec, but they're going to need some space to be bought out. Of course, they just go to the Tim's Mirana.
Never misses.
Never misses. He doesn't have setup here, though, but we've seen TNC not really care about setup for Arrow. Still slightly worrisome. There's no stunts on Undying Spec, so it's all down to Tim's for now. We'll see how else they compensate across the draft. Team Dog, they've still got the option for the Faceless Void. They might want to just pick up their supports or an offlane here first before showing their full hand. But if they do go for the Void, Undying and Mirana aren't particularly great at stopping the Void from being annoying, so they could go for that option. They go to Bloodseeker first, which is pretty darn nice up against Mirana, and even the Spec is going to have a hard time haunting away. TNC goes straight to the Slardar for KP. So there's your combination with Mirana. Crush into Arrow is pretty potent. The Haze as well helps your Spectre and helps everyone else kind of melt a target down. But Team Dog, I think they are getting some value here from the Bloodseeker. These are high mobility heroes in the Slaughter Mirana Spec. If you do manage to slow them down, use your ult on them, they will not run away, and they go with the Terrorblade instead. So just going back to this IYD special to rip and tear through TNC's lineup should be an interesting one to watch out for. Not the best illusion clearing heroes here from TNC. And Team Dog has this outstanding push potential with Lush TB as long as Metamorphosis is up.
That they do. And now we go into the final ban stage. It's like Team Dog naturally get rid of the Zeus, as TB really does not enjoy playing up against that Zeus. And Armel is, of course, missing his mid hero right now. You'd expect some just magical calls to be removed here for Armel. I imagine the Leshrac is going to be there for Arbit in that mid lane, so TNC should already have a matchup in mind. And I always say this when we do come to the point where Armel is yet to make a pickup, but I am looking at heroes like the Kunkka again for Armel every single time. It always just seems to fit.
It really does. It gives you a great way to hold down this Bloodseeker as well, right? Like in case he's running away while everyone's low. He's gonna get caught out. It's still good damage against a Terrorblade, and it can help you sustain your Spectre. You tie that in with the Undying heal would be amazing, but Team Dog see that coming from a mile away and just kind of ban it out.
Yeah. That or the Queen of Pain, and Well, the Kunkka's gone now, so Queen of Pain seems kind of nice for Armel, I would say. It can be a little bit hard into the Bloodseeker, of course, because you can just get ruptured up. So the Void Spirit is going to come out as well now, so you don't really know exactly who's going to be in that mid lane. So it is a bit of a flex pick here with the Void Spirit. TNC, I'd still say even with the Bloodseeker, the Queen of Pain does fit quite nicely.
Yeah, it could line up. They go to Puck instead, so it's still another high mobility hero. Gives them some better team fight overall in terms of control. Does give them a lot of flexibility there. It does look like we are getting the Abed Void Spirit, so it's the Pulse and Lesh here. See how much they can pump out with the support Lesh. But can be an interesting first game coming out. Very different draft here for Team Dog in comparison to what we've been seeing from the rest of the teams in terms of meta. TNC sticking to something that's much more, I'd say TNC standard here. The only exception is the Undying, but that has sort of just recently come back. So you've got the solid Gabby spec coming in, Tim Sperana, KP on his Slardar, Armel on his Puck. Lots of mobility, lots of potential to fight early. We'll see how much emphasis they put on early haunts, if that's something they'll want to have Gabby involved in at all. And Team Dog, you know, we mentioned it from draft, but they're going to have to watch out for the push coming out from Team Dog. Leshrac with Diabolic Edict and the Metamorphosis on Terrorblade will make short work of any of these objectives.
That it will. Well, game one looks to be a pretty heated one between these two. TNC probably looking to be the favorites just based off their group standings right now. And well, in terms of draft, it's hard to know who is ahead. So even with that Spectre, up against the Terrorblade, it can be a pretty hard matchup. As long as the Metamorphosis is up and ready to go. But we'll see what either team can get done moving into this. Of course, how could we forget Febby on the Undying is also with us once again. Very happy to see the coach in, playing with the team.
Yeah, should be having a good time. You know how he is, right? Like he tends to be a very airy guy, very laid back, high spirits. I believe that's going to help TNC as well in all of these exchanges, which is one thing we kind of talked about it in a different series where mental fortitude is a big part for these teams. So having Febby around helps a ton. Still, Team Dog not going to rest around here. They do smoke up early, Mike.
That they do. They'd love to get started with an early first blood if they could get it. They're going to run straight into Tim's. Febby, that's a nice decay. 12 strength straight off the bat. It's kind of like, okay, maybe we shouldn't go into these guys anymore. It's a bit too good of a start for Febby with that 1 3-man decay he just got. Yeah, they're just going to back off. No point in trying to pursue this. And props to TNC. They seem to be somewhat aware that this was going to happen. They did stand back and... oh, they will not be able to get anything on the side of Team Dog.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wasted first smoke there for Team Dog. Still managed to get themselves out in the right spots to grab their bounty runes. Really interesting warding spots here from TNC as well. Going for a defensive one in their top jungle early on, along with one just to watch the runes. So a little bit less standard. Let's see how well this top ward does go out.
Warning in your dream, and then in your dream says blonde.
What?
Interesting.
I'm not sure what they're trying to do here. He just said good luck, have fun, and Armel's like, warning. I'm warning you, kid.
That's your first and final warning in your dream. Don't ever talk to Armel like that again. Armel not very happy today. We'll see what they can get done here. So Abed going to be up against Armel in that mid lane. So the Puck versus the Void Spirit matchup should be fairly even. It's hard to know who will come out ahead in this 1v1 in the mid lane. Could be quite explosive though. You could definitely imagine either hero kind of dying to the other, especially if we do see any kind of support rotation coming in.
Yeah, it really boils down to those early supports if they can get the space out. So far though, Armel, it's going to be a melee versus range lane. Puck is always going to have fun. At least Resonant Pulse is going to mitigate some of that, but it's really going to boil down to level 4 timings. Maybe even just the level 6 timing straight off. So you want to secure those power runes as they come out to help you ride into that point. And we're going to see if the supports get some space for that. Going to take a look up top. You've got Gabby with Febby. on the Spectre and Undying, of course. They are laning against Ice's Bloodseeker and Paulson on the support Lesh. So far, rather even start. Ice is edging out just a bit in last hits, but they haven't really slowed Gabby down too much.
No, they have not. Gabby should be pretty fine here. I think up until you get a few more levels on Ice. The Blood Right, while it is quite painful at level 1, it's not going to be too scary for the Spectre. Of course, Febby, that level 2 mark, once he does have the Soul Rip up, going to be even harder to try and kill off the Spectre. Little Febby going to go for a nice stack on that small camp. Meanwhile, Paulson, however, does get the large camp pull, but they are trying to pull the creep wave away. Gabby going to be forced to farm with the creep wave and that large camp. Paulson not allowing them to just pull this away, but he does leave the large camp on its own, basically. And, well, Gabby going to actually lose a courier now into the Blood Right and the Split Earth. He does not get large creep either. Gabby just lost everything up at that top lane.
He cops a ton of damage as well, and because he lost his courier, he doesn't have any regen. Gonna have to play with a Soul Rip, Gabby.
Gonna be okay, I think. Febby was just holding on to the Soul Rip for the right moment. So they will probably just salve Gabby up when they do get a chance, but the problem is they don't have a salve. I believe Febby might be bringing one out now, and yeah, he is, but it's going to be a bit of time where Gabby doesn't really feel safe to be able to farm up, so they do eventually just give him the Soul Rip.
Yeah, it was a bit on the edge, right? You're playing against Bloodseeker. You don't want to stay low too long. Still, because of that exchange, Gabby's going to have a harder time in lane, already being bullied out by Ice, and he's just diving.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Blood Right. You know Gabby can't run out of that circle before the Blood Right pops, so Ice abusing it perfectly so far. Of course, we should have a look at that one lane we haven't looked at yet, the bot lane, where In Your Dream is going to be on the Terrorblade. We'll have Arfu around on the Ogre, and we'll be up against KB on that Slider, and Tim's, of course, on the Mirana. Quite a devastating lane here for TNC, especially assuming they can land the Crush into the Arrow. Could mean some easy kills for them, but for now, looks like Tim's and Arfu are going to leave the lane and try to secure those 4-minute power runes, which are going to be quite important for both these mid laners. And it is going to be up top where Abed is going to be able to go and bottle it up. And that is going to be very, very nice here for Abed on that Void Spirit.
Gives him a lot more to play with. Armel has been lagging slightly behind. Not too far behind in terms of last hits, but the EXP has been a lot smoother here for Abed. So he's going to hit. He's just slightly ahead in his 5. If he gets an early 6, could be an opportunity to jump Armel. Of course, the support's not really committing for any movement down mid as well. So we're at 4.5 minutes in. No first blood yet. Really cautious plays from both sides. Both side lanes just kind of focused on farming. And Your Dream is slightly eking ahead, but again, there's no substantial lead here to speak of yet.
No, not quite yet. KP not really able to apply as much pressure as he would like up against his TB. Trying to get the bashes in, but of course In Your Dream with that extremely high base armor is not going to be that affected by these bashes from KP. Not quite yet anyway, but so KP is starting to pile them on. Top lane, they are going to have a go at Febby and Gabby with the double stun out from Paulson. Ice drops the Blood Right as well, and TNC will avoid that. This top lane will not have any kills going. However, bot lane is where it happens. In Your Dream pops the meta and is able to turn back around onto the Slider. Eventually does end up getting the kill.
No.
Paulson. Top lane as well going down. Tim's. He made the rotation on the Mirana and does end up getting the kill onto the support Leshrac. However, Ice trying to go after Febby, but Febby did already TP away, and the Blood Right was never going to make it there in time.
Armel?
Armel now going to be in trouble. Pops the Dream Coil. Abed cannot reach for another hit. Does have another Astral Step in a moment, but he is not going to get there in time. He takes so many tower hits on the way out. He's going to be okay, but Tim's was hunting for an arrow opportunity. Unfortunately for Tim's, however, arrow was on cooldown at the time, so he could not try for it. Instead, he is going to go for the siege creep and does manage to get that. Abed trying to be very aggressive with that double damage room, but while that's happening, Gabby ends up dropping very low on the Spectre. Ice again getting very aggressive with these Blood Rights. Couldn't quite finish off the kill.
You're seeing a lot of tiptoeing around across each lane. I think the emphasis now for Team Dog is to try to maximize the early levels and Edict they do have on their Lush to try to get a push going, just not finding the openings. Have to be careful about leaving Gabby alone like this up against his tower. Like Ice could get an opportunity, and they've got backup here as well.
Yeah, Gabby's trying to rush that Blade Mail and still doesn't have the boots up, so he can't actually move out of the Blood Right if it is placed perfectly. And now Paulson trying to go for the kill, but will miss out as Gabby did just TP straight off the bat. Febby will take over this top lane instead, but now he's just going to be ruptured up immediately by Ice. He's trying to run and buy some time, and it looks like he might actually get away with this. Does soul rip up, Febby, still sitting around, but now the Haunt does come in from Gabby to try and help out. Ice getting very, very low and might just drop here to Gabby, and does. He'll leave a Blood Right behind. Paulson, he got greedy trying to go in for that kill and will also die along with his Bloodseeker.
It's a pretty darn good first haunt for TNC. They get Gabby in the right spot. They manage to find some kills. They punish the dives of Ice, and this is what you want to see when you have the Spectre. You can't allow Gabby to fall. They put a lot of resources to save him, and Team Dog aren't really able to use these movements to their advantage. Like, there's an opportunity to perhaps go bot, but they don't really get anything done, and now Armel.
He's just playing around here with Arbit. Doesn't want to commit the Dream Coil if he doesn't have to, but he did get the Invis rune. Your Dream just rotating into the jungle now, just wanting to farm up on this TB. Gabby, I imagine, will do a very similar thing in just a moment once he does have the full Blade Mail up. Looks like he was kind of forced into going for those casual brown boots. That Blood Right from Ice was getting kind of infuriating as time went on. I think Gabby just didn't want to risk having to take those any longer, but he might have to just take a Rupture. Goes to the TP play. There's no stun to stop the TP. Gabby, quick thinking there, will be able to get himself out, but now In Your Dream does rotate up towards the top lane on the Terrorblade and should be able to get the Tier 1 tower very easily.
Yep, they've got the Leshrac Terrorblade. It's that Metamorphosis timing. Going to be able to get this top tier 1. You don't really have TNC in a spot to trade for the bot. They're not going to find any tower trade, and Team Dog might just want to invade the jungle. They're already in position to clear some camps out. And TNC slowly working down bot, but their heroes just don't hit these objectives as fast. So it's going to be a bit of a laborious process.
It will. Tim's going to take a Blood Right, tried to leap out, but doesn't quite get there. They're going to move into that mid lane now where Paulson has gotten started with the Diabolic Edict and was just hiding behind the tree line so the tower couldn't even attack him. Now Ice after the Glyph will come in along with Arbet and Arfu. And that Tier 1 tower, not going to last very long, will also go down. Some great objective taking here from Team Dogs thus far. The TNC, the best they can ask for is they will go after the bot Tier 1, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's a trade in the end for the top. They did lose mid, so you're still a step up here for Team Dog in terms of control. They don't really get too many deep wards here, though, but they are taking control of that jungle. You've got a good spot for In Your Dream to just play on the Terrorblade. TNC's not really looking to punish just yet, and they are just focusing on getting Gabby that farm. Blade Mills up, clearing out the Ancients, what you expect from the Spectre, and that should allow Gabby to start to catch up. Not too far behind from In Your Dream, but does want that gold injection to really start playing. Perhaps might look for an opportunity with the next haunt up. Again, Gabby's not at his strongest yet. It's really down to perhaps Armel to get some rotations out and even KP, but they don't really have the initiation tools. No blink, no major items yet in KP, and Armel is still holding out for his travels on the puck.
Absolutely. Well, very slow kind of period here in this game. It's only 2-3 now. It's kind of what you expected from these drafts, though, right? Both teams would be much more focused in on trying to get some farm up rather than being very aggressive with their with these kind of team fights. You are kind of expecting a down period for maybe the next 5 minutes before you see much more kind of fighting going on between these two. But as I say that, TNC have now grouped up as 4 up at that top lane. And they want to start making these rotations out. And just giving Gabby the space and time to be able to get his own farm up. So they'll move into the Radiant Triangle, where In Your Dream and Arfu are hanging out, and of course they just want In Your Dream. They just smoked away, but now they're going to come back in. Dreamcore going to miss completely from Armel, and now Abed jumps in on the puck. We'll get one, moving back into the backlines after KB, who's been ruptured up. He will walk away a little bit, but he is pretty screwed here. In fact, maybe not. He's on the river now. Dodges out the 8th, the Remnant, but they have the Split Earth, and they will be able to get him.
It's a costly rotation out. Just not landing the Dream Coil, that's their best initiation. Again, they lack the tools right now to get clean jumps in. Like, no blink on KP. He is rushing BKB first. Just stand and fight. And the travels still have to come out. So you don't have any major in-between items beyond this Veil. And even then, that's just not enough for Armel to really control here.
No, it is not. Armel just going to be very careful about missing those Dream Coils, as they do really rely on that lockdown. Bebby going to get spotted out. Ice will be there with the follow-up Blood Riot, and Bebby should eventually die, and will. Now they just want to try and take control of this dire triangle, and that's exactly what they'll do. TNC, it looks like they are just going to have to play the kind of a void game for now. I suppose things are rather dangerous for them. Don't want to risk sticking around longer than they have to.
Yeah, it's playing it safe. Team Dog right now do have the slight lead. They have been, playing not really too aggressive, right? After those two tier 1 towers fell, they haven't really gone out hunting. It's TNC's that really trying to find a grip in the early game. They smoke up once more. We'll see if they can work the angle issues that they've been having and start to find some better targets. They still have the Haunt ready as well from Gabby. Only has the Blade Mail, but could be enough if he does pop it in the right time.
Absolutely, they're going to move in now. KP still doesn't have that blink initiation, but it won't matter too much. They go into Arfu, just trying to run away from this situation for now as Ice gets rid of Atos, and Abed jumps in with a big resonant pulse. They go after the Slider. That'll be KP going down. Flesh Golem will be eventually popped as Febby. Gets a very nice decay off, but they are just focusing down that Tombstone, and afterwards they could go after the Undying. TNC looks like they aren't too interested in sticking around any further. They're just going to have to back off after losing their Slider.
Yeah, it's just really awkward with how they have to start these fights. You can't just run up and hope for the best. Like, one of these two needs a blink. Maybe even a Yules could just stand by here. Travels are up on Armel, so he can split push, but that doesn't help the fights. And right now, that's where Team Dog is shining. Abed can just get the initiation he wants. His Yules is almost done. Once you've got that, the initiation for Team Dog really starts to shine. And they're still playing this push strat. No, Tims.
Yeah, he's been run of Atos up. This is a very dangerous period here for Tims. He's going to be okay. It's like Team Dog will maintain this 2k net worth advantage, and top lane, Paulson trying to go into Armel, but he is completely on his own. Gabby going to be there to back Armel up with this Dream Core being thrown out. KB even coming in. Now Ice and Arbit going to show up to try and go after KB, but he has his whole team behind him. So they aren't really going to be able to initiate, or maybe Arfu seems to believe they can. Blood Riot again, does go on to 2. KB just going to frontline onto In Your Dream, but they don't really have the damage. Now Arbit going to just jump in and take down the Slider. Back into the backlines where we'll go after Gabby, but Gabby will haunt back in onto In Your Dream. Does get the kill on the Terrorblade as he haunts around, not allowing them to find the right one, and now Ice is forced to just back off. Arbit even losing his courier there. Blood Riot is going to be thrown out once again, but it won't catch anyone out. And TNC, I mean, it looked like a really bad start for that team fight, but they do end up getting a 3-for-1 trade.
Yeah, it works out really well. They overextend just a bit there on the side of Team Dog. Couldn't get the Sunder off. I think you have to really be careful about that if you are in your dream. Just overestimates his tankiness when it's really not that high yet. Abed losing his courier as well for a minute 40 means that the Yules is going to be delayed by that amount as well. So openings for our Void Spirit delayed for a little bit more, and that just keeps TNC in the game.
Tims playing with fire here. He's been ruptured up by Ice, and Ice does get the rupture off. With the Thirst, he should have no problems killing off this Mirana. It's going to be another nice kill here for our Bloodseeker. So KB and Armel, however, want to try and get some vengeance as they do move up towards the top lane with the tail end of that Moonlight Shadow, and now the Dream Coil will be expended. Ice. Looks like he may have just accepted the fact that he is going to die. Armel will go ahead and pick up the kill on the puck.
It's a pretty nice pickup in exchange. Definitely a win for TNC overall. Dropping your Mirana for that, I think you're perfectly happy. They do manage to, again, a really even game, keeping it that way here for TNC. They are stalling out even more. Yasha's up and Gabby. You've got the blink up at last on Armel, so you've got a solid way of jumping around as well. And that should allow them to start to find some stronger angles here. Still, Ice did manage to buy out his mech right as he died, so he's going to be able to heal his team in these bigger fights as they break out. The Yules for Abed, again, just needs to fly out from that courier once it respawns. He is saving up for his Ags here on the Void Spirit, so you're going to have the AoE Silence. Again, another big spike for the Void Spirit once it's up. And in your dreams, just doing typical Terrorblade stuff is still on top of the net worth board, but not by much. You're seeing Gabby keep up within about 300 gold right now. So your Spectre is still having a pretty darn good time ramping up here, despite that early aggression. In your dream is barely ahead, and that's something they have to be aware of. The Terrorblade does have big spikes when Metamorphosis is up, but it hurts just as much while Metamorphosis is down as well. So the Spectre has a little bit more uptime in terms of presence, and Team Dog needs to plan their movement around with Metamorphosis in mind.
That they do. See what they can get done. They're just trying to rush for the Aghanim Scepter. That'll be very effective for him and his team. Still, Armel, that low cooldown Dream Coil will be able to fight again very, very soon. He is trying to have a go in your dream. Or rather, Ice unable to get a rupture off there. TNC playing the very passive game, just kind of waiting it out, waiting for that right moment.
There is little hope for Dire's middle tower. Somewhere, someone lays blame.
Both teams just kind of walking around each other right now. Not engaging yet. They might run into Febby. Let's get some deep wards down. They do scout him out. Right, not going to connect, of course, but they'll know a ward's up there on the cliff now, and Arfu immediately will get rid of it. That'll mean a smoke up straight off the bat. Moonlight Shadow has been popped, however, and Tims does break the smoke, and they cannot see him. Very nice timing there from Tims. Just following down Ice. Eventually we'll back off, and there's be another smoke wasted here. TNC, they're just trying to buy time for Gabby. They're not really stressed out.
This really hurts Team Dog a lot more, and we were talking about the push potential with a Leshrac, a Terrorblade with Metamorphosis, and the Bloodlust coming out from an Ogre Magi. They're not really able to get any more. Like, after those 2 tier 1s, they still haven't taken the bot tier 1. They haven't made a move on any tier 2. They just haven't made any progression, and that is hurting them. This is the strength of the lineup of Team Dog. If they're not playing to that strength, TNC, as this game lags on, I mean, this is a Spectre. This scales really well. Even even this puck does scale really well into that late game as well. Whereas you've got an upper limit as to the presence of the Bloodseeker really starts to taper off at some point, and even the Void Spirit kind of tapers off to a certain extent as well. So Team Dog needs to maximize this kind of opening while they're strong. They've already got the Manta up on IYD. They're saving up for the Scotty next, but I don't think you want to wait for that full thing. You just need to commit to a tower, force the team fight out, and kind of try to get your targeting right. You just need to be careful about focusing on the Spectre in the Haunt, as the Blade Mail is just going to really ruin you. But if they protect in your Dream in the middle of these engagements, it should be fine.
Up lane. Well, they found KB again on that Slaughter. KB gonna try and hide in the tree line, and will beat KB up and just survive for now. They do move in with the TPs. Armel looking for a big Dream call, but won't throw it out. Your Dream moving back up towards that tier 2 tower. Not looking to stop anytime soon. Meanwhile, towards the south, it looks like they have ended up finding out Febby, and Febby is definitely going to die. Arbit able to pick up a nice pick-off for himself. And they are indeed going to get that tier 2 tower without really much contention here from TNC. Looks like TNC are kind of just stuck waiting again for Gabby. But they do smoke up. So maybe it's about that time to go. They may believe the Roshan's happening right now, but that is not the case. Dream Coil, Ahmed going to be caught out with the silence there as well. He cannot dissimulate, but he gets the Yules off in time. Dissimulate, not going to be there. They have the arrow, but now he will get it, and will actually be able to Astral Step away. They do not get the kill they wanted. Ahmed, oh no they did. Armel did find him TPing in the back lines. Very nice play there from Armel, and now the Horn comes in. Who are they going for, however? Looks like it'll be Arfu they target. He is the easiest one to go for, and they do manage to pick him up. The dagger forward, they want Polison. Rupture there on Gabby, trying to slow him down, but Armel will find Polison on the left rack. And TNC, they find 3 big pickoffs, and that'll be enough. They will get out.
Yeah, it's a nice big win for them. Again, playing around the Haunt quite well, knowing that Metamorphosis was more than likely down after that push. So they make use of that downtime on Terrorblade. They go straight into the Roche. This is not going to last too long when you have a Slaughter that can help you amp up the damage. So first Aegis of the game going towards TNC, but they're not going to get it for free.
Well, they kind of are. Looks like the side of Team Dog don't make it in time. They do give up the Tombstone, but that's going to be it. Or maybe they give up Gabby. Gabby's been left behind here. Bloodright's going to come out with the Fire Blast, and Gabby, he's still surviving. The Dream Coil will be there to just hold them back. Gabby's going to be alright. He does get away with the Aegis intact. Arfu going to be targeted, but KB's the one to go down, and so does Febby. Ice still chasing. The Yules is going to be there onto Tim's now, and well, this is a very expensive Aegis. As Tims should also die, but they don't have another Astral Step. Meanwhile, Ice diving into Gabby with the Rupture, and Bloodright is unable to kill the Spectre, but they do end up getting Tims.
Oh, that was definitely not as free as TNC would have liked it to. They did manage to make something happen at the tail end. They still hold the Aegis to it. I think at the end, Gabby having the second life is still big, but it is a costly pickup. Team Dog now have an opportunity to play with his Metamorphosis. It is back up along with a Scotty. So IYD is going to hit a lot harder. They've also got this fresh Ags up and Paulson. So much more damage will go.
Going to go on to Arfu. Arfu doesn't really have any way out of this, so he's definitely just going to die. Armel's sitting at 6-1 and 2 now on the puck. Looking very, very good. It is going to get very, very scary, though, once Arbed does have this Aghanim Scepter. That AoE silence is just so devastating in the middle of the team fights. And apart from Gabby, they haven't really been struggling with everyone else on the side of TNC.
No, it's going to be difficult once you get that power spike on Abed, as you mentioned. Not many defensive items built up. I mean, Armel does have his Lincolns, but nothing to stop that AoE sound. So that's going to be a scary point. TNC's going to have to be cautious. At the least, KP has his BKB, so he might be able to stall out for some time, getting Crush off in the middle. It looks like Team Dog, though, are feeling confident. 600 gold away for Abed. Again, the Scotty up in your dream. He's going for his BKB next. Gabby is very close to his own Scotty though, so just about 200 behind. And could be big for him as well.
Tims ends up dying up at the top lane. It's like Abed once again does end up catching out the Mirana. And he's 30 gold away from the Axe now. Should be able to just pick it up very, very easily anytime. He will go for it now. Gabby, mid lane is farming up. Should be fairly fine unless the Blood Rite does come in and Arfu gets a Fire Blast off. Aether Remnant there with the Dissimulate, but Abed not going to stick around to finish off the kill. Gabby still has the Aegis and is still a bit of a tanky boy. Keep going. Armel, Dreamcoil is going to be out now with the Haunt coming in from Gabby, and looks like they are going to be able to finish off Arfu. With that, Ice 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 also goes down. Gabby moving for more. Abed trying to run. Should be okay. A nice setup there from Armel on the puck. Does help ensure they get a couple of kills for their trouble. In fact, they're going for more now. Tims love to go after Paulson, gets the Yules off, but is going to die for his trouble. And now even Armel getting very, very low. Gabby's going to try and fight this one out. Onto Paulson. Armel could not get himself out in your dream. Finishes off the kill. Now looking to fight back up against KP and Gabby. He's just got to clean up here for In Your Dream. And In Your Dream will get an ultra kill. Gabby will respawn up. He'll be the Rampage if they can kill him, but it looks like Gabby might be a little bit too tanky. They're still going to give this a shot. Gabby getting low now. He's going to try and fight back up against In Your Dream, but a Rampage will be there for In Your Dream. He does manage to get it on the Terrorblade. And what a shame for TNC. They got 2 easy kills. They wanted to go up the high ground and get more, and unfortunately, they just pay for it.
They didn't see the Ags on Abed. Like, that fight broke up. Abed was staying out of vision. He knew that was not the spot to fight in. And TNC overextended. Good punishment out from Team Dog to get that done. In Your Dream can be very happy with himself as he does pick up that Rampage and just, again, making great use of this item spike here on Team Dog's side. Playing the right sacrificial game and do manage to win out because of that. TNC got to be cautious about it. Respect the power spike on Abed. Again, they don't have anything defensive here.
Well, mid lane, Abed getting started again onto KP, but he's going to be able to just walk away. Still TNC now definitely on the back foot this game. Definitely not great considering how their game was started. This is kind of what we talked about in the draft phase though. This Spectre generally doesn't really enjoy going up against the Terrorblade, and just overall, the whole side of Team Dog has been quite effective in the way they've been playing this game. I mean, you could try to just hope and work towards more farm on Gabby. It's kind of like how much more is going to help, though, up against the In Your Dream Terrorblade.
Not as much. I think the key thing now for TNC down the line is to play around the weaknesses of the Terrorblade. So wait for Metamorphosis to be popped in lane, pull back, refresh. Once you know Metamorphosis is down, you have a massive window to get a kill out. Still, it's not getting any easier. The lead In Your Dream has this massive 4K above our spec, has the Satanic up, and they smoke up.
That they do. Meta up in 2 seconds. Abed has made the jump in onto Armel with the silencer rod of Atos. Armel going to get blown up, but the rest of TNC have jumped in. They'll go after Arfu. KP trying to get away. He will die to In Your Dream, and they will just keep moving forward. Gabby forced to back off. The one saving grace is that Tombstone will make it so they can't chase any further. Or maybe they can. Abed, he's going in by himself. He's been used up, however, and the arrow will land from Tims. Now they can just go high ground though. No buybacks on either of those cores that did go down.
Oh, look at the melt.
Yeah.
They have the Blood Rage along with the Blood Lust. So, In Your Dream hits like a machine gun.
Don't forget the Diabolic Edict on top, John. It's
oh boy.
a lot of tower damage, and oh boy, Thebe is going to die. Paulson with the Aghanim Scepter upgrade. He's going to be able to take him out. Now that top rack's going to go down as well. In Your Dream, just taking care of it. And well, they're not going to be able to find the final lane of racks, but They've got a huge net worth lead and 2 racks is up. They are very close to taking out this game number 1.
Yeah, and this is Team Dog finally, you know, being patient, getting the spikes they needed, playing with their strengths, and they're chasing Gabby a bit. It's a bit risky.
Gabby will give the tip over to Arbed, but I'm not sure Gabby's in a position for this kind of stuff right now. Must be still feeling a little bit confident, but it's looking very, very dark for TNC this game 1. The longer it goes on as well, the more farm the side of Team Dog is finding. It's just hard to see how you come back. Like, you've still got this powerhouse in the Spectre. Even the puck is pretty darn great, but that Terrorblade just kind of, it's looking unstoppable now. And of course, Arbed has not made it easy to get through to the backlines where you can find this TB.
No, and it's a really quick Roche as well on top of it. When Team Dog does have the control, so they're going to be able to take this objective. TNC, not really having the vision there, need to make their way down and contest it at some point. Looks like Team Dog might opt to find a pick-off first, though, before anything else.
Why the hell not? TNC, they take the outpost back, but that's probably just going to be taken back by Arthur. He does grab it. Arrow, nice block there with the In Your Dream illusion, but KB is going to blink in, but he cops the stun out. Now Armel could not get the Dream Call off in time. He will now, but it looks like maybe they can take this team fight. Arthur, he'll be the first one to die. Gabby in the back, fighting. Collison going to go down onto In Your Dream, or rather Ice, he will also die. It's looking great for TNC so far. Arbed going back in. Oh, he found the Spectre. Gabby got a bit too low there. In Your Dream, going to be happy with that pick-off. They still do get quite a few buybacks out, so it's not all bad for TNC. But that's Gabby without a buyback.
Yeah, that is still really big for Team Dog. Going to give them the Aegis and the Cheese as well. So they're going to have a lot of tools here to keep themselves alive. Metamorphosis is not going to last too long, so I don't think they can really make their way onto anything. The only outer tower left is that bot tier 2, a bit too far out. But they're going to be able to stall out long enough and maybe find it.
Armel might pay for this stalling tactic. Will be able to blink away, has another orb, will actually pop the Dream Coil. Arbe just keeps rushing forward with these spider legs. Has another Astral Step, but I believe it is too late. Armel is going to be just fine. Ice. Tim's in danger. Almost dies. Still ruptured up as well, but he is on his high ground and he's going to be able to survive.
This is a really dicey position now for TNC. Tier 2 going to be slowly chipped away. They've got some interesting wards watching this area as well. Look at all these wards, Mike. Watching lane, watching the top, watching the side of the jungle as well. Interesting spots, but they will keep eyes on where Team Dog can play. This is the only spot for Team Dog to take any objectives. So just having this control should help TNC decide when to come in and when to take a risk and find an opportunity.
Well, they certainly need all the vision they can get. I mean, that's for sure. Whatever gives them the advantage, TNC, they'll take it. They're still not out of this game yet, that's for sure. Got to the point where Gabby wants to work on an MKB on the Spectre, just to be able to go through the butterfly of In Your Dream. And of course, it is going to be important. You start to kind of wonder if whether he's just better off with the Divine, but they do jump in. Bot lane, Collison can be targeted first, does drop onto Arfu. They will get another. Gabby, looking for more. Does spot out Ice. Ice, gonna try and run away, but KB is gonna be there with the stun still. In Your Dream now pops the mana. Gabby getting very, very low. They got Ice, but they've lost their Spectre again. He can buy it back. Arbed, meanwhile, in a spot of danger, but there goes Febby. The damage In Your Dream is dealing is just way too high. Armel is going to be alright for now, but Arbed is slowly but surely chasing him down. Armel will just go for the TP play out and will make it. So, not a bad team fight per se, but you did still lose the Spectre.
Yeah, overall, you win by numbers, you lose by priority of targets. Like, losing your Spectre just again, slows down Gabby so much more. You are keeping Armel alive, and he does have the full Dagon 5, so you can do some damage, but the scaling on magic damage puck isn't as great as physical puck, and one has to wonder whether or not that's something Armel has to consider now as the tier 3s are being sieged. This is In Your Dream alone, but he has Aegis.
He does. It's very, very hard to defend this if you are TNC. Gabby, of course, does not want to commit the buyback, but he might have to as Arbet has jumped in once again onto Armel. Silences him up. They won't have enough to finish him off. There's your buyback, Gabby. He just has to commit it. Even though he was 10 seconds away, they do kill off Arbet on the Void Spirit. Now onto In Your Dream. He needs to try and run, but he cannot. He's a very, very slow Terrorblade as KB goes into the backlines onto Podlison. Armel is there to clean him up. In Your Dream still trying to survive. Gets the Sunder off onto Gabby. Gabby will back off for now. In Your Dream, just waiting for the right moment, does go back in after Febby kills off the Undying. They just don't want to get close to this Terrorblade. Even without the meta, he deals a lot of damage out. Instead, they'll go after Arfu. Arfu will eventually die. In Your Dream, trying for the TB. Tims does get the Yules off just in the nick of time. Now with the arrow out, they can deal with In Your Dream as he's by himself. The Sorup dishing out so much damage. In Your Dream
Satanic
with the Satanic surviving, gets KP down. He will not die. Still holding onto that Aegis. TNC, they look unsure about this. Do we stick around? Do we back off? Looks like they are going to opt to back out of there. Ice looking to go back in. Rod of Atos is going to be there on Febby. They want the dieback. And Febby, he cannot sustain the damage out from In Your Dream. It'll be a dieback on the Undying.
They lost their tier 4s. There were 4 siege creeps going on the towers.
Jeez.
And they're naked. Their Ancient is naked.
Yeah, well, In Your Dream, he has a meta backup as well. They will go back for the bot Rax. He gets it, and now I guarantee In Your Dream's thinking about that Ancient. He's going for it. He doesn't feel like he can be stopped. Gabby gonna haunt in, back to the back. Polison gonna die again. Gabby going for another now. Onto Ice. The Bloodseeker will also go down, but In Your Dream is still the big problem. Gabby will not die quite yet. He'll survive on 200 HP, but how do you stop him from going after the Ancient? He's just hitting their buildings, and they can't actually do anything about it. Tims will leap away, but Armel will not be so lucky. In Your Dream, looks like he will be able to finish it off, and the GG has been called. A very good game between these two, but Team Dog, they do manage to pull off the Game 1 victory over TNC Predator.
Yeah, they managed to pull ahead Team Dog. It looked a bit rough early. They were waiting really long for some item pickups. They were waiting for Obits. Ags does end up being worthwhile. And their power spikes were so much smoother. They had this insane push lineup with a Sport Lush, with a Pause 1 Terrorblade. TNC, for their part, really put a lot of faith into Gabby, and he did have a decent time. He was matching the Terrorblade for the most, but they couldn't quite build up enough. Like, there was just not enough damage output to really get control there. They might have found the supports, but In Your Dream was always the major problem, and they never found an answer to that damage on In Your Dream.
No, they did not. Of course, with that, John, we are going to move into our final game of the night between TNC and Team Dog, and hopefully, if it's anything similar to the first game, it should be a pretty darn good one. It's MLP, Dota, and John X Fire. We'll see you all again very, very soon for the final game of tonight. See you soon.
to ban.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for the final game of the night between Team Dog and TNC Predator. It's MLP Dota and John X Fire. John, what an exciting game number one between these two. A very close one, I might add, but Team Dog, they did manage to pull it off. Game two, TNC Predator, is there anything in particular you'd like to see done differently about the way they played this game too well?
I think they've got to be a bit more active. They were really taking the back seat there, just waiting for Gabby to get farm. I think you had a lot of moments where Armel and KP could have played together with their supports, with Tim's on top, with Febby and the Undying, just force some fights out while Gabby was just farming away. But they took their time, which meant Team Dog, despite them not progressing in objectives for a while, were winning the farm game. Like, they were much more efficient. They got some major spikes with Abid getting his Ags timing up. I think TNC's got to be careful about taking too long there. Team Dog would understand that as a moment of opportunity. And have to point out as well, TNC in the last game, Gabby did end up getting a blink on his Spectre towards the end. Didn't quite help out the cause. And you also have to remember, when In Your Dream did say good luck, have fun, they did give him a warning.
They did.
So you got to watch out when you warn In Your Dream. He's just going to get that much more motivated.
Absolutely. Team Dog once again going for that Ogre Magi pickup in the first phase, which, you know, in the first game, I wouldn't go as far as saying it won them the game, but it was quite a nice kind of added support to have. The Bloodlust always nice. The Fire Blast was quite annoying for the heroes of TNC Predator. TNC, they will respond with a Phoenix to get themselves started, and Team Dog will go straight into the Lina. So two very lane dominant kind of supports. You already have a pretty nice way as well of getting rid of the Phoenix Egg, especially at the early levels with the support Lina. Already I like what I'm seeing from Team Dog.
Yeah, it's a decent support duo that can come out. Maybe even a core Lina for Abid if he feels like it. We'll see. TNC, though, opening with a Phoenix, do have options to tie in here. Mars is an option. The Gabby faces Void is the big one on my mind. If they want to play with the Phoenix as a wombo combo combination, the faces Void would be a really good pickup here. Not much to worry about from the Ogre and Lee. They opt for the Mars instead. So our KP hero coming out a bit early. Maybe even Armel playing Mars. Also an option there. So both sides do have some flexibility on hand. And they do have fairly strong openings, I'd say. The Phoenix-Mars combo is one way to prevent the Lina from right-clicking the egg. As long as the Lina's trapped inside with the egg outside, or vice versa, it should still go off. So you've got some ways now to guarantee that your egg goes off here for TNC.
Absolutely. Going to that next ban stage here. Now, this was the ban stage where we saw Team Dog using a lot of reserve time for these bans. So we'll see if they do repeat the same sort of time used up for these bans, or whether they feel a bit more confident to just kind of fly through them. Looks like they are already going to get started with just kind of focusing in on the Gabby heroes. Of course, Gabby, very good pos one. You want to make sure he doesn't feel comfortable on the map. And well, Void is one of those heroes that he does enjoy playing quite a bit. I imagine Team Dog will probably also get rid of heroes like the PA now, as that is another one of the Gabby specials where he can literally just put the team on his back if he needs to and just carry the game. I definitely don't want to have to play up against that Gabby PA if you can avoid it.
Yeah, for sure. It just does so much. I think if Team Dog does let it slide through, they do have some decent burst in Lina. They've got some good follow-up magic damage from the Ogre Magi as well, if they are considering that. So not the most worrying, but it is still a special of Gabby's, and he does deliver. So got to watch out for that one. Taking their time with their bans, as we've seen Team Dog sort of do in the second phase. We'll have to see. I think Ray's good points about that PA should be taken out. They've already taken care of the bigger combination that faces Void. There's no option for that on TNC side. Of course, TNC, for their part, did take care of the Lifestealer, and there's that PA ban out. Lifestealer's gone. They take out the Jug as well, so all the magic immune heroes that could potentially just walk out of the arena, out of the pool now, which is fair. We have seen Mars just kind of struggle against those heroes. So now you're looking for a core that might just get stuck in there, as Team Dog don't have an easy way to save their cores from that. And unless they run the core Lina, don't really have room for, say, a Tusk or, say, a Venge here. unless again that's the Abed hero early, but not the tendency for most of the Abed style drafts, but could be an opportunity for Dog if they want to flex.
On TNC, final ban out, and we'll get to see some more picks coming out. And Team Dog wanting to make sure that there's no cheesy kind of calls coming here for TNC Predator getting rid of the Arc. It's fair enough. TNC, they'll take a bit more time to think about this final ban out, and they might just they'll get rid of the Invoker, so not wanting to give that over to Abed, and they do go for the Venge, which opens up the Drow pick, if that's what TNC is looking for. Of course, apart from that as well, John, you do have the Arc Warden, but you know, God forbid that gets picked up.
It is a rather balanced hero. I think honestly the Arc Warden would be nice here, right? Like you've got Bubble Egg. Like I think that's a pretty funny combination as well. It's a first Team Dog to fight into. So if you have this Lina, even if Arena's down, as long as the Arc Warden's there with an egg, you're pretty fine. We'll see if that is the choice for TNC. Not really having the best of ways to deal with that yet for Team Dog. We mentioned that they could have gone for the Venge as well. No option for that now. So much TNC can bring out here. Swaps into the arena, swaps to save, and just a lot of control that can come true for TNC as well. So Team Dog have to kind of consider what they want here with the Ogre Magi Lina, consider whether or not they want to just end up running a core Lina, going something else for support to deal with the lineup already in TNC, and they are taking their time. Looks like they might have caught themselves out here. Now they've got to consider certain things that could reach at the back. They could go for a Clockwork. Clockwork Lina is a pretty potent duo as well, if you sort of want to fit that into a lane together. And that does give them reach towards the back to preempt something like the Drow, something like the Arc Warden, if they wanted to. So could be an option for Team Dog, but looks like they're just going to think about it.
The CK. Well, how could we forget? We've seen this a couple times over the past couple days. Very, very strong. TNC, however, will go for the Medusa pickup, and that's one way to deal with the CK illusions with the Ags. Though, John, it does scare me a little bit. Like this Medusa pick. If you get rifted by the CK with all the Ag solutions, I imagine your mana pool will probably disappear pretty darn quick. So I'm not sure how much I love the Medusa pick, and now an AM is there as well. So you've got this guaranteed way of draining mana, and you've got the CK who probably will pick up Ags, which means another AM illusion to drain even more mana, and as well as that, just a lot of damage to pump out. I'm not sure. Is this draft from TNC going to work?
5 seconds.
It has very specific conditions where it works. I think your Medusa is going to have to stand back every single time. They're going to have to play around the wombo combo of Stone Gaze plus Egg, Stone Gaze plus Egg Arena. And that's where it comes in. Of course, you've got the Venge Aura to help the Medusa. Very reminiscent of Boom Esports drafts. But again, they're the only ones who really play fast with Medusa. We're talking about Mask of Madness, maybe a Dragonlance and start running around, or just a Yasha and running around. We'll see if Gabby wants to play that way. He tends to like to build up a suitable gold base first, which they can provide with Venge stacking. You know, the Terror Wave kind of giving them a lot of stacking opportunities is going to be big and important for TNC. Team Dog, despite the fact that they've got this amazing CK, I think the early start is where it might be a bit dicey. Not in laning, but in terms of overall 5v5s or 5v4s or 4v4s as the AM and Medusa will farm. When it comes down to a 4v4, Mars Phoenix Venge just sounds like a lot more AoE control, a lot more team fight. CK without the Ags lacks a bit of punch. Can still kind of tear through softer targets, but it's not as amazing. It does feel like the Ags is a key part of this pick. So you're going to have to wait for that build up first for Team Dog. We'll have to see how fast Ice 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 can reach that point. And what else they're going to take here. Like, it looks like we are waiting for our Abed hero. So something that could tie into these timings is going to be really important.
That it is. Team Dog, final pickup now. The Abed hero, as you mentioned, is to come out.
10
Armel also lacking his own mid lane hero unless they throw the Medusa there, but I do believe that is going to be a Gabby Medusa that we are seeing. And Team Dog, 25 seconds reserve time left to make the pick. You definitely want something that just kind of opens up the map and the space for In Your Dream. Nothing too greedy here for Arbet. They'll give him the Batrider. That's one way to do it. It's a very aggressive kind of draft here from Team Dog. It does come online fairly early, right? Like once you hit that mid game, again, once you have the CK Ags up, it just seems like it might be time to go. You don't exactly need In Your Dream to join in either on the AM. You can kind of just leave him to farm.
Yeah, it's going to be able to really buy that space out for the AM. I do have to say Batrider into Venge can be a bit dicey. So you've got the swap to break off the lasso. That is one thing for Team Dog to consider. But when it comes down to activity, they do have a lot of room to be aggressive. And they have some room for flexibility in how to lane the Batrider. It could be a pause for Bat with Abba taking the Lina instead. So they could just wait to see what the mid-match will be, what the lanes will be like before committing to their picks. And that does make it for a fairly potent pickup for Team Dog in closing out this way. They can choose to flex till the very end. TNC, gonna have to think hard about this one. Looks like they really just lack the RML hero. They're gonna have to find something that won't have too many issues, whether or not it's facing the Lina or Bat. You do have the Spirit Brother options are still sort of available. Ember is there, although probably not the best against Bat. They go with the Legion Commander instead. So it looks like Armel Mars coming out, KPLC. And that should be a treat. The last time we saw Armel Mars tends to play really aggressive. We see him go for the Blink Yules for the most part. And that's always a joy to watch. Into the Desolator. Let's see if TNC can hit their timings this time. But Team Dog do look pretty darn nice as well with their draft. In fact, no, it's the Armel LC and the KP Mars. So
Okay.
Nothing too crazy. I suppose when it comes to Batrider versus LC, that is pretty nice. You've got that self-purge. So Napalm stacks won't be a big issue. Abid should still be able to find farm. But that should be a very steady lane for both sides down mid.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough lane for Arbet on that Batrider for sure. The whole strength of the Batrider is now just kind of gone with the press the attack. But apart from that, I still like the draft of Team Dog. It's going to be a matter of what TNC can do with their own draft to get things going. And John, what is that CK cosmetic I'm looking at? It is very different, this horse.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't even recall that one.
Yeah.
And it's always kind of weird. Everyone else faces forward. CK kind of changes his orientation when the picks come in for some reason. I don't know. He just likes showing off his horse. You ever stop and think about how small the actual Chaos Knight is, Mike? Like, you look at the unit. Look how big that horse is. And look how small he is. Because the shield covers his entire upper torso. It's like he's a tiny, tiny man on a huge horse. You know?
He's compensating for something, John.
You
leave him alone.
It's something. It's something. Still, we'll see how it goes. We'll see if any warnings are given out to IYD for saying good luck, have fun. Gotta watch yourself when you warn him. Don't want to motivate him to play good.
True. Arbet just throwing a casual sticky napalm onto his team just to oil them up a little bit, just make sure they're feeling good.
Yeah. I mean, we did get some word from ICE that they were busy commiserating their food outside their bodies.
Yeah?
Vacating their bodies of their food. So something up. Looks like they might have an imposter giving them food poisoning.
Perhaps.
Hopefully it
not.
doesn't stay too long. Yeah.
Knowing Ice though, he could have just been joking.
Yeah.
It's hard to take the guy seriously sometimes. I don't think the admins knew either whether he was joking or not. Just gotta accept it and pretend you're taking it seriously.
Yeah. It's the best you can hope for. Still, love this early positioning of Ice. Look at that. Just standing on the ramp, waiting for some to roll down. He got the camp blocked as well. So Febby, it's got to be ready. He has his sentry. Should know something's up. Should be able to spot that later.
Yeah. Again, it is going to be quite important as well. Like Team Dog, they're off to a good start in that game number 1. They definitely want to get this series 2-0 their way if they can afford to, as they do want the points quite badly. Nice, actually going to get a 2-second stun straight off the bat, trying to run into Gabby. But Febby is not going to allow the follow-up Light Strike array to connect on his Medusa. He does throw out the magic missile and make sure Paulson does not get the chance.
That's all bounties going the way of Team Dog. Like, they have one left, but they've taken 3 already. So TNC missing out on a lot of early gold, and a bit surprising. But they do win out here, Team Dog, just having a nice little injection for themselves.
I can't remember the stat that I saw the other day, but if you do get all 4 bounties at the start of the game, the chances of you winning the game is quite a bit higher than it would have been had you not. I can't remember the exact percentage, but it was substantially higher. So Team Dog finding themselves a very important advantage at this 0-minute mark.
Yeah, if only one of them would spot that last bounty rune, hopefully before it respawns. Still, gonna take a look at the lanes. You've got In Your Dream with Afu, very standard AM lane with the AM and the Ogre Magi. Of course, they are up against KP's Mars and Tim's Phoenix. So got a lot of damage that can fly out here as well.
Debbie might just be dead. Ice is going to chase him down. He tries to eat through the tree line, but that is going to be an extremely early first blood out by Ice. And I'd say out of everyone, this is probably the last guy you want to give that gold to. Because again, once he has the Ags up, it is going to be go time for Team Dog. Just giving him that first blood gold is not going to be what TNC want.
Yeah, it's really going to help Ice accelerate towards that initial set of items. Even the EXP gain for a CK can be important. They're getting some good spread here between Ice and Paulson. Gabby and Febby on the Medusa eventually. And this does take quite a few levels to come online. Right, like Medusa level 1 is not amazing. Even level 2 is not that great. Level 3 is sort of fine, but 4 to 5 is when it can come into its own. Febby as well needs some levels up on his aura.
They really wanted that range creep, but Paulson very good deny there on the range creep, and every little advantage counts, especially when you're playing up against the Medusa. Slowing her down as much as possible is just great as they throw another stun out. Light Strike Array is also going to land. Febby going to go in with a magic missile onto Ice. Just going to be a bit of trading. Of course, the last lane we haven't really talked about too much is going to be the mid lane with Abed versus Armel. We did kind of break this down in the draft a little bit, but Armel shouldn't really have too many issues here up against Abed. You are always going to be able to purge off the sticky napalm with the press the attack. Abed, he can continue to just spam it out, but that's only going to mean that Armel will constantly have mana to be able to continue spamming press the attack. So this is very unfavorable for Abed on this Batrider.
Yeah, it's not the smoothest start. Abed's going to have to really consider his rotations into the jungle to get that catch-up farm. He's already falling behind in terms of last hits as well. It's a really good lane control out from Armel. Of course, both heroes might want to keep an eye out for the power runes as they come out, but Abed does know that his bounty's up. So he gets a free refill on the bottle, and that is going to allow him a little bit more presence here. Armel should get a smooth ramp up to 6, and if he does, he should watch the supports to come in, make use of that first duel perhaps, or get a rotation on the sides. Could be a nice little pickup for Armel if he's allowed to escalate this way.
Absolutely. I think Armel's just going to have a completely free lane. I just can't see Abed being able to do anything to slow him down. It's like Abed's actually going to go ahead and pull the creep wave back from behind the tier 1 mid tower and go for the small camp as well. It's just nice little efficiency plays out from Abed on this Batrider, just doing the best he can with what he has. And I guess that is one way to win out the lane, is just don't lane at all up against the LC. And now the standard race is on for that 4-minute power rune, but Armel does have that inbuilt movement speed there, so he is going to be able to beat out Abed in that as well. And well, bot lane, they do lose Arfu. Tims, he's able to get the first kill for the side of TNC onto the support Ogre.
Yeah, just dropping a bit low there on the side of that Ogre. Not much In Your Dream can do, and that's really the gist of this lane. It's very basic. There's not many opportunities to make any big plays. So TNC, once they've got these levels up, you know, you've got that major spike with level 2 Fire Spirits, can burn through that softer support. I mean, it's still a tanky support, but not very tanky against magic damage. That's something Afu's going to have to watch out for. Still, this is giving In Your Dream some pretty good space to farm up. KP is farming even better, though. That is something to consider as the Mars. Once you hit level 6 as well, it's going to be a fairly good timing for KP to make some plays in.
That it will be. Fire Blast is out from Arfu. Looks like he does manage to take the boundary rune away from KB. Gonna be a 2 for 2 anyway. Not too big of a deal. It's in your dream. Gonna cop a bit of harassment on his way out. As KP not really backing off from the AM. Will also give it the way of Arfu. This Mars hero is just so damn powerful in the laning stage. It's kind of hard to contest no matter what you've picked up. In your dream, he does have plenty of regen though with that Ring of Health and Ring of Regen. He's probably not going to be forced out of this lane anytime soon.
Nah, it's going to be steady for him to farm up. The one thing happening here, though, is that the supports are sort of stuck. They're both going to make their way down for that 6-minute power rune soon. Going to be important for Abed to get control on this. If he gets a haste, it could be an opportunity to find something. They really have abandoned this lane to Armel. Already leveled 6. Going to hit 7. It's going to be a really good start for him.
Armel just getting all the farm he could have asked for. Gets a DD rune as well, and looks like he wants to try and make a rotation. He will now level up the Jewel. Looks to get his first bit of Jewel damage, but Abed is aware of what Armel is up to and does give the heads up to his team. Armel's still going to run up. Paulus is sticking around a bit too long, but Ice is going to come in with a stun and a light strike array out. Armel is going to be able to survive, but won't really be able to get the Jewel he wanted. It's a bit of wasted time here for the LC. She will be forced to just go back into the mid lane. Meanwhile, Abed just searching around for some stacks in the Dire jungle does end up finding some. So still being able to find farm while just taking it away from TNC. Armel, he really wants to go for this dual attempt, but will lose his courier in the process, and Abed is just going to run away, forcing a TP out from Febby. The stun is not going to make it in time. Perfect timing from Abed, back to the fountain, and they just waste so much time from Armel.
Yeah, a good play coming out from Abed. Contesting those stacks can be important. We talked about that from draft. That's something TNC wanted to build up with the Venge for the Medusa, for the LC, and just losing that control is going to hurt a bit. It's allowing Team Dog to find a slight advantage here overall in net worth, not by much. Really even game so far, really slow game for both sides as they are playing cautiously once more. I think the issues you have right now for TNC is lack of a naturally highly mobile hero. So you're waiting up to be up or the blink on Armel. And once you have one of those, I suppose you can start making some plays, but it's going to be hard to find some backup. I suppose once you have level 6 in your Phoenix as well, there should be some opportunities that can present themselves, but until then, it is just going to be a bit more of this slow build-up for both sides. Steady, not much aggression, just focusing down, hunkering down for the long game.
Gabby's farm up has been very slow on this Medusa, I've got to say, John. 2.2k. One thing is as well, is like you do tend to go back for the stacks if you are this Medusa, but against the Bat Rider, who can just kind of roam into your jungle and steal them away, can be quite annoying for Gabby. And speaking of Abed, he has found out the Medusa. He wants to get through that mana pool first before going for the lasso. With the Firefly, it's a lot of damage out on Arfu. He's going to be there to back him up. Another great rotation out from Abed, considering how bad of a lane he had to go through. This is a very good game for him thus far.
Yeah, he's making good work with his Bat Rider. Again, TNC is sort of repeating what happened in Game 1. This is very reminiscent of that. They're just trying to buy Gabby out space. They're not even finding that space. Abed's now clearing out the jungle up top. They don't really have control in the bot jungle to farm up. They are shoving in the tier 1 bot, but the Morris is not the fastest pusher. Still, he's going to have some backup, and Armel around should ensure that this tower will fall.
KP having a look around for Arfu. Arfu standing very, very still. KP can drop the arena, and that will remove all the trees, but he doesn't really want to waste it. So instead, he will hold on. And Abed's having a laugh at Arfu.
Oh.
Yeah, they should. Oh, KP, he's going to go for a TP into the mid lane instead. Yeah, he wants to go for a team fight in the mid. Ice, I guess he is much more valuable of a target, but Ice, he is still surviving for now. Sunray will come through. KP going to get stunned up, and now Abed going to sneak up from behind, but he does not have enough mana for the lasso, though it may not matter. It looks like the Firefly is going to prove to be enough, and Ice will be able to take the kill on the Chaos Knight. I suppose in the end, KP may as well have just stayed around at the bot lane and gone for Fu.
Yep, they didn't even get the tower gold, Mike. They got the deny off down bot. Febby does the same up top. So overall, no one getting tower gold, but that does hurt TNC a bit. They could have gotten an easy duel win for Armel. Would have helped him snowball a bit on that LC. Looks like they're just going to wait for that blink, but look at Abed.
Yeah, Abed going to move in with the Firefly again, and now has the lasso ready to go after this LC. Press the attack is available for Armel, but he's just going to try and run for it. He will pop it. Flame Break is there. Meanwhile, Tim's dying across the map, and Armel, he has no way out of this. He just has to accept the fact that he is going to die. And nothing is going right so far for TNC. It's a 5-1 with a 4K net worth advantage at 11 minutes in for Team Dog. They are making it look very easy.
The biggest gap here is between our AM and between our Medusa. Gabby is still stuck at 3.3k behind Paulson's pause for Lina. Whereas In Your Dreams now at 5.1, Battle of Fury 2 parts away at 11 minutes in. He went for the treads as well, so this is a really good build-up for him. There needs to be something from TNC. They need to find an angle, play with the arena, play with a duel. Something needs to come out to slow In Your Dream down.
Well, they might go after Ice. The arena is placed perfectly by KP, but now In Your Dream can blink straight in. Mel around will go for the duel onto Ice, and they will be able to secure the kill. In Your Dream, he should be able to blink away. He will just take a bounty while he's around. That'll be the first duel victory in the game for Armel. So I guess at least they've got that out of the way. Nice pick off there onto the CK.
Yep, they just had to wait for the blink first, but it is ready. Still, look at how aggressive Abed is just on the map. Forcing out a swap from Febby that doesn't lead into anything.
Yeah. The classic Bat Rider just runs at you every time Firefly's off cooldown, and you've just got to try and avoid him. That being said, he does have the lasso up now, so Gabby's going to have to be slightly cautious in that mid lane, and how poor Gabby is, he just doesn't seem to be able to survive anywhere near long enough up against Abed's Bat Rider. Still, TNC just going to try and buy more space and time for Gabby. They don't really have any stacks set up for him though. They've all been stolen by Team Dog. And while all this is happening, Ice is getting closer and closer to that Ags. That's going to be the real problem point here for TNC, is they are going to try and force the fight up at that top lane, but Arena was on cooldown for another 5 seconds. Now they do have it, so the duel will come out from Armel. Sunray there as well. Everything being thrown out to make sure they can get this kill, but the duel was not won. It just expired. Now Abed looking to turn back around with this lasso. Doesn't have Firefly up yet, but he has it up soon. They do run out of time. TNC, they are going to get away with that Ogre kill.
Yeah, I like the split focus coming out here from Team Dog, though. They group up as 4 up top. They give Ice space, knowing that they have to play around the timing of that CK. And we talked about this. Like, CK without Ags can make some plays around the map, but doesn't really shine until that item's up. So Dog is actually putting Ice on the safe spot to farm. No threat of him under rotation. Gabby can't do too much. It's actually In Your Dream copying the harder lanes, copying the attention. So far has been paying off as they haven't slowed down Ice. And as that slow build-up towards the Ags comes up, it is really going to be scary. Although he does swap out for a Blink instead, looking for utility on the CK instead.
That's pretty interesting. Armel going to jump in, actually has found out the Lina, so Paulson is going to go down. Another duel victory, and now they found Arfu again. So Arfu gonna die, and Armel does get a double kill. And I'm kind of intrigued by that switch up in item builds. I mean, the blink is gonna be nice, but I thought the Ags was just kind of like almost it just seems better.
Yeah, I'd say it is. Like, blink on the CK right now, considering how weak base Phantasm is. Like, level 1 is 1 illusion. You don't have that much damage on you yet to really get that up. I think the strength does come in numbers a little.
And Tim's caught out. Rift is going to be there, but I believe the Rift pulled him out of the lasso.
Yeah.
But Tim's is still going to come back. They do go down. I guess they are buying time for Gabby. Slowly but surely, the Medusa is starting to catch up.
It really is. You are seeing In Your Dream still up ahead though. Battle Fury now up on our AM. So expect that number to slowly rise as he is a little bit more mobile than that Medusa. Not as much mobility for Gabby to clear out these camps. You do have the Blade Mail up on our Mel, so the duels should be a bit more effective. They deny the mid tier 1, taking some gold away from Team Dog as well. So TNC just holding in there. And Ice Ice again messing around does switch for the Ags. So it looks like he's just waiting for his point booster to finish up. And once you have that, well, it's time to see how many particle effects each PC can take, Mike. We're talking about Arena, talking about Egg, talking about the Phantasm Illusions. Honestly, if the Egg plus Arena are running while the Illusions pop, I'm sure you're going to see some very juicy frame drops, Mike.
Who needs those frames anyway? One frame is enough. We grew up in the back in the day, you know, when we had the Windows 98 and 2000 or whatever it was, XP, the good old days. You know, when PowerPoint was actually useful as well, to be able to use it to make your little school presentations.
Oh yeah.
Show the teacher.
You're always the coolest kid.
Yeah, the teachers always pretend to care. You know, they always found what you made lame.
Very true. Still, we'll see if that does come into play. Again, the Ags should be flying out soon. 50 gold left for Ice. So really good timing for him to get that done. Not eating into too much space for In Your Dream as well. So it's still pretty steady here. Gabby, however, does have the Yasha, Manta up soon, and Blink.
Well, they found Alfu again, so Mel, looking for some quick dual damage, is going to be able to get another plus 10. Very nice feeling for him. Obviously not the greatest kill in the world, but it is buying them space. It's giving them more DPS, and look at Gabby's farm. He's second in net worth now. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, they've left him alone in the jungle, and again, that's a Venge stacking up multiple camps for you at the same time. So it is highly efficient, even though the Medusa's not as mobile. That's something Team Dog was very aware of at the start, but did let go down the line to get their own farm together. So it is sort of biting them now in the bum. Not quite big enough on Gabby to be a threat, but he is rushing the Butterfly. So certain things are starting to line up there for TNC. They still need to find their big team fight combination. We haven't seen Arena plus Egg yet, although...
I mean, they do get Polison, but in the mid lane, Phil again, gonna be in trouble, will go down. So they do find another 2 supports for the side of TNC. Very, very good news for them. Now Ags is up on Ice.
That was lame.
TNC, not going to be too worried about that quite yet. Chasing down Arbed. Mel would have loved to get a jewel off there, but he could not quite reach.
Top tower is under attack.
I mean, Team Dog, they're playing the long game, right? I mean, even up against this Medusa, with this AMCK, they seem to be quite happy to just sit back and relax.
Yeah, it's not the most threatening. We talked about the weaknesses, right? The mana burning off, the AM to add on to that as well. It's going to be relatively easy to take care of Gabby. The bigger threat is the Egg Arena going off in a good spot. So it really boils down to Tims and KP finding the right position, getting their combination off in a big way, and setting up these fights for TNC to start cleaning up. Haven't seen that effect yet. Again, it's very reminiscent of the pacing we saw in Game 1. Both sides are just waiting for major item pickups first before looking for that fight. Does lead to that slower pace. BKB for Abed looks to be one of the timers that they're waiting for. 200 gold away now for Batrider to have that spell immunity in the front. That should help Abed get his positioning right and start to find those key targets to pick off. TNC for their part, again, it's all about Gabby getting farm. They do have the ults up on Tims. and they've also got the blink. They've also got the Yulet's up in KP. They're gonna need the blink on the Mars position to get that buff.
Oh, here we go again. Arbed going to be caught out here. KP gets the spear off into the arena. Arfu around to help out, and Arbed is actually going to go for a lasso back onto KP with the Phantasm Illusions. Here we go. KP going to survive, but Febby in trouble. Meanwhile, Ajor on the backlines has caught out the Lena. Paulison is going to die, and Febby, he survives. Gabby now going to rush forward onto Arfu. They want the Ogre again. They are going to be able to get him, and TNC managed to fight it out very nicely. Everyone ends up surviving through the team fight. You know, every team fight that goes by, I'm starting to get more and more worried for Team Dog. It isn't working out.
Yeah, they're just not quite hitting as hard as they'd want. Now, that was TNC popping all their big spells, whereas Team Dog doesn't really have any major spells to wait for. Lasso's there, Phantasm's there, but they're not very long cooldowns. They can maybe look for an opportunity, but the net worth lead has swung back. It's just 1k up for Team Dog, not a massive lead by any means. That's something TNC can seek to abuse. They do have the blink up on Ice, so you can get the initiation just right if they want to, but it looks like they might set their eyes onto the Roche first.
That they will. Roshan going to go down fairly quick. There we go, that's better.
Ooh. If they were aware of that illusion, they would pop some hope.
Oh, Tims did dive in for a second. Arbed gonna knock him back with the flame break, and Tims has no way out of this now that the Icarus dive is gone. He could maybe pop the egg if it was off cooldown, but it is not. And now, Febby also caught out by In Your Dream, blinking perfectly. Be able to get the Mana Void to cancel the TP off. A double kill out for In Your Dream. They just look to get back. Just enjoy the map.
Yeah, they're getting some good farm out. They do get the lead back their way. 3k up now. Our AM is slowly inching his way towards that Basher Abyssal. So once you've got that in Your Dream, he's going to be very hard to keep locked into one spot. Again, one weakness of the craft of TNC. All they really have is, what, Duel to really pin him down. I guess the Venge Stun is there to follow up. Still, Gabby is making use of this time really well. Butterfly up, straight into Divine. So Gabby understanding that they are starting to fall behind a bit, needs a huge boost of power. Divine Rapier going to be lined up for him. Should be nice once it's up. Butterfly as well, it's going to block off some of the damage coming out from Ice and from In Your Dream. So you are getting some durability boosted up from that, and of course a lot of good damage. And TNC, they're just going to look to pressure that bot tier too.
But they will. Ice, he'll TP down. Blinks in for the stun, gets the Phantasm off, but isn't looking for a team fight by himself. Just going to force back the side of TNC. Arbed going to show up now on the Bat Rider, going straight on to Gabby, but doesn't go for the lasso yet. Now the swap out. Arbed still going to pop the BKB and be fine. Stonegaze is there. Now another swap in with the jewel out from Armel. They're holding down the Bat Rider, and they will get that one. Paulson also going down, but Gabby does die to In Your Dream. Gets the Mana Void off on the Medusa. In Your Dream now going after the egg, but that may have been a bit greedy. He doesn't have the jewel up, or rather the blink up, but he will die. That'll be the Aegis. Can blink away, but he'll go back in onto Febby. We'll get another one for his trouble. They want to keep going. Ice doesn't have a blink up. 5 seconds away from it, but he's still chasing them down. Looking for a rift back. KP might just have to be the target here, but he's going to hide in the tree line for now. In Your Dream blinking perfectly forward once again, and KP going to be completely surrounded, and he is going to die. Another one for the books as Ice just keeps going, but Armel goes for a duel with the BKB out, and it looks like he is going to be able to win this duel out, but here come the illusions surrounding them. Tims will just disappear. Armel trying to find his way out. A great overwhelming odds will actually clear out those illusions. Arbed, lasso is there, back onto the LC, and looks like Armel will die. complete mess of a team fight between these two, but I believe Team Dog did come out ahead.
Yep, really big wins for them. Does cost them the Aegis and a buyback and a couple of deaths, but they win out. They do manage to force TNC back. Not the cleanest, but again, it works out. They're going to find some objectives. They have to be a bit cautious about how much damage is building up with Normal. He has 100 bonus from the duel, and he has that blade mail, so he can stand and fight really well. Overwhelming odds, as you saw. Deletes people when they're under the Phantasm. So you have to watch the illusion placement there as well from RCK. Beyond that, Team Dog are starting to pull ahead. Basher up, Abyssal, Recipe not too far off here for IYD. So he's going to be able to get control, find the target, lock them down, pin them down. TNC, they are still strong. Like when they have Arena plus Egg plus Gaze, they can really mess up these team fights big. They just have to be careful about overcommitting, as there aren't as much major cooldowns here on the side of Team Dog. They can just focus on right-clicking down, running around, getting some casual damage and control off. And TNC relies on these teamfight spells a lot more.
TNC waiting for a power root at the 26-minute mark. It is going to be a D&D room, but In Your Dream does pick it up himself, and now they might be forced into a bad team fight. Looks like Gabby will be stunned up by the Fire Blast. In Your Dream trying to get away from that Stone Gaze, and Armel going to jump in now for a big duel out. Kills off Arfu. Paulson also dying on the Lena, and TNC are looking for more. Won't quite find it yet. Or maybe they will. In Your Dream will come back in onto KB and cleans up the Mars, and now Arbed going for a lasso, but the swap is going to be there from Fabi. So In Your Dream cleans up another. It'll be the Venge going down. Ice trying to jump in onto Gabby. The Deucer will be fine for now, but In Your Dream just hitting way too hard. Kills off Tim's onto Gabby. The mana's gone. Gabby's a bit of a sitting duck now. He has Armel there to try and help out, but In Your Dream still just mad fighting. Will blink away now, and Ice. He's been left behind. He will die. In Your Dream did not want to stick around, as Armel is hitting way too hard. It is going to mean a 4-for-3 trade in the favor of TNC.
A really massive win for them. Awkward position for Team Dog to force the fight. Like, they knew all the spells were up. They didn't even have to try out the egg there for TNC. Just the arena alone was enough to mess it all up. And again, just respect the LTL though.
Oh, they respect the LC, all right, John, but they've jumped in again, and Armel, he's going to get all the respect now.
Yeah, it's the Abyssal. IYD goes back, he gets a +1, gets a chain stun. Do manage to clean up, so in the end, I'd say that's a win for Team Dog. Ends up being a 4-for-4 if you count that last kill, and just slightly better for In Your Dream coming out there for Team Dog. So they do have a lot to play with. Scotty being built up by our AM next. TNC for their part, all their spells are still standing. Arena has refreshed. So they can look to force another fight out if they want to. Gabby's very close to finishing up that Divine Rapier. Does have the Sacred Relic up. So just needs the gold for the Demon Edge. And considering the Flash Farmer for Dusa, should be able to find it. But you are seeing the gap between the AM and Dusa start to build up again. In Your Dream, 3k gold up. And Scotty should be a nice piece of control to really mitigate how tanky Gabby's been in front.
Certainly. You saw once In Your Dream can jump onto the Medusa, it's not really too big of a problem to get rid of the mana pool and just get rid of the Medusa herself. It's more Armel that seems to be the scary part, as he's sitting there with +120 jewel damage, and even with that Orb of Destruction, he kind of just rips through you if he gets the jewel off. Of course, In Your Dream, going to have to be very cautious about copying the jewel out from Armel. Gabby, is he just going to outright buy the Divine? Looks like he just may. He's making his way over to the Ancients and should have enough gold after this Ancients are done. He does, and yeah, he buys it out.
Ooh.
Dangerous times. Smoke up, they want to make use of it straight off the bat.
Dire are scanning for enemies.
Take their outpost back first,
Is under attack.
prior to that 30-minute mark. They aren't going to find anyone, though. They just kind of reoccupy their jungle. Illusions are going to be there to scout out, so they will see the Divine Rapier on Gabby.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Both teams are going to be waiting on that next Roshan, but it is about a minute and 15 seconds away.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is Radiant's courier has been killed.
It's like one of those things where they kind of avoid each other for a bit.
Yeah, it's much more efficient time for Team Dog farming up though. Like they're getting way more build up here beyond the Divine on Gabby. Gotti done on In Your Dream. Ags going to be done soon for Paulson. Does have the gold, doesn't have the courier. Once you've got that Ags on the Lina as well, of course you can start bursting here people down. And of course with a telescope, does allow Paulson to play from further back, increases the range of just how far they can cast their own spells, and they do smoke up.
But they do. Courier. Mel's Courier probably going to die here to Arbit. TNC. Going to take over the Radiant Triangle, and they'll go for a counter smoke here, back into the mid lane. The Team Dog have shown themselves.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's courier has been killed.
Arbed ready to break the smoke. Nice positioning on this Batrider. Will Firefly and just run immediately as soon as he breaks that smoke. However, Mel going to catch him out with a duel. That might mean that Arbed is going to die. They don't win the duel. It was just a split second off. He's going to be all right.
Took the racks.
Very nice. In Your Dream does just rat out a lane of racks. Very nice stuff. And they're in position to go for the Roshan as well if they want.
Could be a bit risky. I mean, we're talking about Arena, Stone Gaze, and Egg. Got a lot of team fight and
Oh, In Your Dream, that's a big target again. They do lock him down with the spear, but do they have enough time? In Your Dream will just be able to blink away. Armel did not have the jewel off cooldown yet. Fu, he'll be the trade. He might die, but Febby almost dies in response. TNC looking to go back for that Roshan now. Smoke up. There aren't many heroes around here from Team Dog to try to counter out this. Hollison, Armel going to chase down the Lina, is forced to pop the BKB, now In Your Dream will jump in on the AM. Armel going to be alright for now. KP in with the Yules, but he's been stunned up by Ice. He could not get the spear off. Tim's going to go back in onto In Your Dream, but now the jewel is out on Arbed. Arbed actually burning them alive while all this is happening, but it will eventually die, and Gabby will get a double kill, but In Your Dream jumps in for a Mana Void. Does a lot of damage, kills off Tim's as well. Mel and Tim's both gone, but Ice will die to Tim's. Nafu trying to hide, will eventually go down as In Your Dream does come back in. Gets another one. It's a triple kill for him, but an ultra kill for Gabby. The Roshan still alive throughout all this as well. Back in they go. Ice kills off Febby, but this may cost him his own life. They do go in, Ice. Yeah, he's melting alive. He will die. And so you've got an Aegis now on this Medusa. Gabby's going to feel a lot more confident trying to be a bit more active on this Dusa, even with this Divine Rapier. They are going to go through the mid lane.
Yeah, that was just a complete mess for Team Dog. Caught surprised by the Divine, and they are paying for it. Gonna be a huge window for TNC to rush down. No buyback on Ice as he did die back. So they do manage to take a nice free objective, and In Your Dream, he's not going to defend. He's going to have to just play this split push game. Maybe force out the melee racks down bot completely and just kind of force the attention of TNC to split. They can't really commit for high ground, but you're on a really awkward spot now if you are Team Dog. They need to get Abed using this lasso. He doesn't have a blink up. It's going to need something to help him reposition himself into the backline and grab some key heroes. If they can grab the Medusa, drag her up front, could be big, but Febby has been on point with the swaps to break out those lassos anyway.
That he has been. Take their time once again. Looks like Gabby's going to work towards the Satanic now. In Your Dream, meanwhile, is doing the exact same thing, and he also has a Divine Rapier queued up. He will go for the Satanic first. Turning into one of those games. Divines have become very necessary, but they are still maintaining the net worth lead on Team Dog. It just doesn't really seem to matter as much anymore as time's gone on. All that net worth is basically on the position ones anyway.
Yeah, you're seeing everyone else really take a backseat. Abed, Ice, and Paulson, all behind Armel. At the least, Paulson's farmed enough to be a pseudo core. They are like 4 cores compared to TNC, where KP's lagging behind a bit in terms of his build-up. Still, they do manage to take that last outer tower and start from tier 3.
KP going to get the arena off onto Paulson, and Gabby is just going to make quick work of him. However, the top lane is being forced in by In Your Dream while they are trying to make the push down to the bot lane. Mel will go in to defend that, but In Your Dream will be able to blink away. So Gabby back into the bot racks. Slowly go ahead and take it out, but Ice jumps in for a stun, and Arbed is looking for a lasso attempt. Won't quite find one yet. They do spear him up to the wall, and Arbed is taking a lot of damage from that Divine Rapier. Baby's going to swap him back in. He's still just trying to run, but Gabby should have it, and Bebby, another great swap. But here comes In Your Dream with the Abyssal Blade. Still Bebby with the Ghost Scepter surviving. Stone Gaze out. In Your Dream forced to Manta and blink away. Stone Gaze will be used up. So they do pop the Phantasm Illusions. And they deal with this Medusa. It doesn't look like it, Gabby. He's looking very confident as he does go into the mid lane now. In fact, they've gotten started with KP jumping in, but Armel gets a great jewel off. He got In Your Dream. The AM's going to die. There's no buyback gold on him. Gabby going to find Ice as well. And they're going for the tier 4 towers now. And the GG's called. They can't defend. And after such a great start to this game for Team Dog, they just have to call it because they realize there is no way to defend this Rax. Or rather, the Ancient.
They messed up. In Your Dream bought out his Satanic before going in there. The duel was on point from our Mill, and it fell apart. Now, Team Dog, again, looked good earlier on, as you mentioned. Really fell flat as it came down late. They allowed Gabby to just farm up after contesting that jungle for a long time. He just managed to play catch up, got the Divine, were caught surprised by it, paid the price, and In Your Dream just unfortunately bites at the wrong moment and gets punished immediately for it. Did seal that game. So great performance from TNC, Team Dog. A rather unfortunate way to end that series, but it did look good from both teams. Really even match overall.
It certainly was, John, and with that, that is going to be it for us tonight. Of course, we are going to be back tomorrow for the final day of the group stages, and it is looking to be a pretty lit day as we are ending the groups, and there are still some ties in the groups right now, so see how that all does pan out. But for tonight, it is MLP Dota, it is John X Fire. It's been a pleasure. We're going to go to bed, and we'll see you all again tomorrow, same time, for some more great SEA Dota. See you then.